Hey everyone, the top fives for the different positions are done. We're moving on to analyzing the opening fixtures, seeing which teams have maybe a little bit easier fixtures, which might make you want to have more players from those teams, and which teams you should definitely be avoiding getting players from because they're facing some of the top clubs in the league right away. Before I get too far into things, I just want to say that this kind of fixture ticker that was created was not by me. It was by someone by the Twitter handle at FPL Krisk. It looks like I hope it's okay that I'm using this, but I just definitely at least wanted to give credit to where it was due, as I was not the creator of it. Um, but yeah, without further ado, we're going to look into it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe if you're enjoying these preseason videos. One thing before we actually look at the different fixtures, I do find that in Serie A, the fixture difficulty makes less of a prominent impact as it does in fantasy Premier League. I do find that form of players is much more important in Serie A, as I've had high quality players that no matter who they're facing aren't going to score because they're not in form, and uh, some players, as we've seen last year, just kind of spring out of the ashes and score multiple times in a row. We saw that in like Kulpani, Sula, Goodmanson. And it didn't really matter who they were playing, they were scoring goals. But I still think it is very relevant. Just I'm saying maybe not as relevant as maybe some fantasy games you've played before. But we'll get right into it. Just like last year, it does seem that the bigger clubs do have the easier road to start things out. And we see right at the top of the list, as discussed in other videos as well, Roma seem to have the easiest path in the first six fixtures. With three of them, as you can see, green means it's a relatively easy fixture, yellow, medium, and then red it means it's a harder one. Also, keep in mind, I don't know if it's going to show with any of them right now, but two different teams can have a different color based on whether it's a home or away fixture. As teams do find it harder to play away from home. It's just a fact. A crowd behind you does make a difference. Some people are kind of non-believers in that, but I'll just tell you right now, it does make a difference. So if you're, let's say, facing, let's find an example, Como away might be considered to be a yellow fixture rather than a green one when Juve is at home. So just an example there why throughout the season you might see different colors for the same teams. And sometimes we realize that a team that we thought wasn't going to be very good actually turns out to be good, and then their color ends up changing. But as we can see, you read the list of names, and you'd say most of these are going to be top half table teams. Roma, Lazio, Napoli, Atalanta, Juve, Milan. And then we have Inter. Cagliari is maybe the only one that's kind of snuck in there punching above, or that wouldn't be probably part of this crop of teams. But it does seem that Serie A likes to schedule things where their top teams should be getting wins almost always right off the bat. And so these are teams that you probably want to try to have two players from right away. Roma, I know a lot of people have been kind of against picking up Dybala based on that price tag. I'm still defending having Dybala in your team to start off the season, not only because of the fixtures, but a reminder that based on he is the most expensive midfielder. So if you can fit him into your team, and a lot of people, the main reason that they don't want him is that he's injury prone. But if he does get injured, you can switch him to anyone without with only one transfer. So I do think that Dybala is probably a lock in my squad. It's just that second Roma player right now, just ensuring that Dobvik is the starting striker. I think that would be good, but again, 9.0 mil for a player that's never proven himself in Serie A might be tough. And I think I'll probably be transferring Tammy Abraham out because I feel like Dobvik will take that starting spot from him potentially right at the start of the season. So I do want to find a second Roma player, whether that's a defender, or I just take the risk, and I do know a lot of people have put Dobvik into their starting 11s, and just finding some money to make that happen. That's what I might be doing. Lazio's also has some good fixtures, especially the first two before they hit Milan. They do have some tougher ones in the back half here, especially if they're away. I would like almost say that those could be like orangey fixtures. Those Torino had amazing defense last year. Fiorentina's always been seen to just be above kind of a middle table club. So maybe Lazio almost, I guess they could deserve that second easiest fixture spot, but it could also have dropped as well. Napoli don't be picking up Osimhen, I don't think, but Kvaratskhelia might be worth it. Defenders Buongiorno, I think Di Lorenzo might be a high price, but Napoli seems to have some really good fixtures off the start. A reminder that Bologna has lost a lot of their players that gave them such an amazing season last year. So they may not be a yellow fixture as they were, but you can't discredit them yet. They're coming off a high. Hopefully, they make some signings and are competitive for Champions League as well. Atalanta, some decent ones. The big team they have to face is Inter in there, and it's away. I'd almost consider that a throwaway fixture. But when you have options now like Retegui at 6.0 mil, definitely consider those Atalanta players. Um, with Juve, I know one player that a lot of people are wondering is about Yildiz. Is he going to be a starting striker in the team? Are they going to do a two-striker system? Because at 4.8, that would be an amazing player to have in your squad. We're yet to see if that's going to be the case, though. Yildiz hasn't participated in a lot of the friendlies so far. Milan, I think Morata is a good option to be looking at. Has some decent fixtures as well. I probably wouldn't go with Cagliari players. Maybe depending on how we see Coppa Italia, what happens in Coppa Italia, if they have a really cheap midfielder or defender, to just throw them in your squad as bench fodder. And Inter, I think no matter, they could have been all red fixtures and I would have still had Lautaro Martinez in my squad. Um, and again, even these red fixtures, Inter will still be the favorite in those matches. But those are the big clubs that I would say, like the big clubs have the easiest fixtures right now. So it's going to be hard to fit in two players from a lot of these clubs as they are very pricey players. You're going to need players from clubs in the lower tiers that have harder fixtures as well. But obviously, we're sticking to your main players are going to be coming from the top teams to start off. Some teams that I would definitely stay away from for now, though. And a lot of these teams, like we have Venezia, newly promoted, I probably wouldn't be going after their players anyway. But Venezia doesn't even have a green fixture, as we can see, and Empoli and Verona only have one, where most of these teams are going to be the underdog going in anyway. And it's pretty just self-explanatory. Whenever these teams have green fixtures, it's going to be like a good match anyway. It's not even like a great game. Like you might be facing a weaker defense where a striker might score a goal, or maybe you might get that 0-0 draw or something like that where you're facing a team that also has a hard time scoring. But here are five teams to I'd say avoid, although Udinese had an impressive Coppa Italia win today 4-0. But we will have a Coppa Italia video as well where I dive a little deeper into that. But Lecce, Udinese, Empoli, Verona, and Venezia, we can see have a really tough time right off the start. It just seems as though Serie is kind of trying to show that top half, bottom half um, separation right off the bat, and then you have your title race and your teams trying to avoid relegation as well. Um, but those are kind of what our fixtures are looking at. Obviously, there's quite a few teams that didn't get shown in this, but they're probably the teams where you're looking at getting bargains for. That obviously can still score. We'll have okay fixtures throughout, and you'll be kind of rotating it from putting those players on your bench or into your starting 11. Okay, but that's what the fixtures are looking at so far. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's keep our trek towards 600 going. The preseason is the time where we get the most subscribers. So I'd appreciate making the most of that. Anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.